Greetings and welcome to each and all. The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
Particular warm welcome to the celebrants here with us today, and family and friends and parishioners who surround Nathan on his ordination to the priesthood and his first offering of the Eucharist, or Mass of Thanksgiving, I should say. Are we not perhaps all afraid in some way of Christ? Have Father Nathan and all those ordained with him yesterday got their timing right? Have they done their due diligence? Have they filled out their risk management plan? After all, and let us be brutally honest, for many people, offering yourself for priesthood today would seem at best plunging yourself into some terrible uncertainty, or at worst, an act of sad delusion. Just like the foolish tower builder and the thoughtless king going off to war, both heading for disaster. But that, however, is indeed how it seems to many. And I'd like you to take that seriously. What a moment in our church's history to be ordained. So when the time comes tomorrow when someone asks you, "What did you do on the weekend?" and you reply, "I went to an ordination," what will the rest of that conversation be like? What will you say? When you're at work on Monday, you're talking to your neighbour, and especially, how will you account for the joy we feel today? Because today is a day to embrace joy, of course. Joy, thanksgiving, faith and hope and love. These deep things that come to us from a wise God, and with which we respond to God, the source of life and love. How do we account for the joy and the hope that we have in us today? So let's start with today's Gospel. It consists of a string of sayings on the cost of discipleship, followed by those two little parables to illustrate the necessity of facing and calculating the costs. Jesus obviously did not care much about numbers. Thank God we're in such good numbers here today. What about next Sunday? Yes, the Gospel today says that great crowds followed Jesus. But how many do you think were left after he told them, "You can join me only if you are prepared to hate your family, stand up for what I stand up for, pay the price of ridicule and suffering. Oh, and by the way, you have to give up all your possessions." How many would have been left listening to him after that? So today the church prays Father Nathan out onto a life of service as a priest of the Lord Jesus and at service for you, his people. Hate your family, stand up for what I stand up for, pay the price in suffering and ridicule, give up all your possessions. Are they really the words he wants to have ringing in his ears as he moves out into the future? Are they joy-giving words? Or do they make us hesitant or even afraid? In his homily to inaugurate his ministry, Benedict XVI asked a strange question. Are we not perhaps all afraid in some way of Jesus? Afraid of Jesus? Afraid of the Lord? What could Benedict mean? Benedict says, are we not afraid that he might take something from us? Are we not perhaps afraid of giving up something significant, something unique, something that makes life beautiful? Do we not then risk ending up being diminished or deprived in some way? Are we not perhaps all afraid in some way of Christ? That's a very provocative question. There is indeed no dodging the cost of the call of Jesus to be his disciple. Come and follow me. It requires a commitment. It requires a yes, capable of shaping a whole life and a whole lifetime. So yes, it means priesthood. So yes, it means marriage and a family. The cost of the call of being a disciple of Jesus does mean religious life or the generosity of a single life. It means a yes, capable of shaping a whole lifetime. It means being faithful to Jesus' law of love, in sickness and in health, for richer for poorer. It means a commitment to peacemaking, the work of forgiveness, loving our enemies. The cost of discipleship means time given to prayer and worship. And when life falls apart, as it has sometimes the habit of doing, being ready, having calculated, as it were, ready to trust that God's mercy can heal us and put us back together again. Yes, this call to be a disciple of Jesus should make us think twice, to tremble even a little as we calculate the cost. But Benedict can confidently and boldly go on to say, after he asks that provocative question, is there some way in which we're really frightened of Jesus? He then goes on to boldly say, if we let Christ into our lives, we lose nothing. Nothing, absolutely nothing of what makes life free and beautiful and great. No, he says, only in his friendship are the doors of life open wide. Only in this friendship is the great potential of what it means to be a human being truly revealed. Do not be afraid of Christ. He takes nothing away and gives you everything when we give ourselves to him. We receive 100-fold in return. This is how I think we can account for what joy we have in us today. Because even when we are facing into the wind of the storm that has descended upon the church, that vineyard in which Fr Nathan will serve, today we celebrate 7 brothers, deacons and priests who have calculated the cost and laid down their lives, and who trust that Christ does take nothing away, that he gives everything when we give ourselves to him. But how else will they be effective deacons and priests, ready to get their hands dirty, no matter how confusing or messy or bewildering life may be, as it unfolds for him? There they will encounter the Lord in the lives of the people they serve. So Nathan, listen wisely to the people of God. Listen wisely to their needs and wants, their hungers and their hopes. There's a time to speak, there's a time to listen. Hear their voice, hear the voice of him who calls us out of fear and anoints you to proclaim boldly and lovingly the good news. Continue to let Christ into your life through the Eucharist, whose minister you now are. Everything is contained in that short, everyday half hour. That humble celebration that contains the solution to all the riddles. Because nothing gets done without body broken and blood poured out. Christ's and yours. It turns out that there is no right time to be ordained. Hanging on until some more peaceful or agreeable time turns up. We offer ourselves today. He offers himself today. We offer ourselves today. Here and now. We get the logic of the kingdom. Do not be afraid of Christ. He takes nothing away, and he gives you everything when we give ourselves to him. We get it. We praise God for revealing to us in Jesus the wisdom how to really live life. And we simply thank today. Not congratulate, we simply thank Fr Nathan and those ordained with you that you have said yes to be a servant of that wisdom. So how will that conversation go tomorrow morning? What did you do on the weekend? Well, I went to an ordination, and I can tell you